Good morning, Dan. And Amy, don't call it a comeback. He's been here before running for office. This time for United States Senate, he is businessman Willie Wilson, two-time mayoral candidate, who announced last week that he will challenge Dick Durbin and Mark Curran, the Republican nominee for U.S. Senate, as an independent candidate in November, on November 3rd of this year. Willie Wilson, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Yeah, all right. Thanks for having us on again. We're glad to be back on the scene, you know.
So let's just get some housekeeping matters out of the way first. You got to get 20,000 signatures by the third week of July in order to get ballot access, and if I'm generally right, which of course I am.
He's never wrong.
Where are you in that? Where are you in that process?
Well, first of all, you don't have to get 25,000 as originally. They dropped it down to 10%. That's 2,500.
Oh.
Oh, right.
Really?
The COVID change. Right. Okay. So
right.
2,500 is a cakewalk. You've got that.
Well, yeah. Look, it's been a little challenging because of the virus and everything. But we'll probably have. I think we're somewhere right now about 17,000.
Okay,
that's good. So you'll make it.
You're going to be on the ballot. And I also understand that you've put $5 million of your own money into your campaign.
Yeah, I did that yesterday.
Wow.
So this is a serious bid for you. I mean, you've put, obviously, your wealth on the line before in previous campaigns, but I don't recall a downstroke right out of the gate that large when you ran for mayor. So this is, you're playing to win.
Yeah, I do. Last time I think I put like $1 million when I ran for mayor the first time, and I might, so but I think that what happened is that this is a unique time. People, get to come out and they don't not on the street like they used to. The churches been limited to, open, and so, we were going to come out the box, but we still plan on winning this year. We're going to do some social media and of course, video and TV and stuff like that. But we've been going around the state,
Yeah. Why did you wait so long to announce your candidacy?
Well, basically, I as we sit and we see things, and, I'm not happy with the state, the governor or the mayor or Dick Durbin. He haven't done nothing. He's been at 37 years. And I said, well, I'm not really doing anything. I'm focused on my business. But then I said that, it's kind of like when you get okay financially and you sit around and don't do nothing, it bothers me. So if I could do something to help and change things, I'd get out there. This guy been off for 37 years, ain't did nothing.
Don't you think it's being a little unfair? I mean, 37 years is not a long time in office in this city and state. Don't you think you should give Durbin a little bit more time? He's still sort of in the probationary period. Don't you think? I mean, I think you're a little unfair to him. He's just starting to get warmed up now. Will, are you ready for Dick Durbin to call you a token candidate? He likes to use that word token.
Yeah. Well, well, look, when Dick Durbin doesn't care nothing about no people, in my opinion, in the state of Illinois, but especially he haven't been good to the minority community. All right, I'm basically running for everybody. I don't care what you are, but Dick Durbin wouldn't even give me the courage of returning my telephone call.
Really?
And after that, I even had my congressman to call and ask him to give me a call, and my commissioner do the same thing, but he wouldn't even call me back.
Well, what did you want to say to him?
I wanted to talk about him since I had won the African American Award in the city of Chicago, and then the state. Kind of like, what do you got planned for Social Security? What do you got planned for all this, the virus? How you gonna help the people that are dying in these particular wars, and how you going to deal with the jobs and things leaving out of the state of Illinois, the businesses and things of that nature? I wanted some answers to it, and so he refused to do that. And what are you going to do about the crime bill he signed, and prison reform and everything. Those are ballot question that I wanted to ask him.
What
Because
about what
I'm a
about
business person.
what about federal support for public safety? I note two things that I want to get your comment on. I know this is a local matter, but it necessarily involves the state and the federal government to some extent, or certainly could. One, the Chicago Police Department is disbanding its gang, gun, and saturation teams effective July 23rd.
What?
Cops currently in those units can go back to district patrol or choose other options. Why would you disband your gang, gun, and saturation teams citywide against the backdrop of what has it been? About 300 shootings and 55 dead, including 10 kids under the age of 18 in the last 3 weekends. That seems curious. And combine that with a new study out of the University of Utah that finds that Chicago's quote unquote bail reform, which is to provide more condition release for people awaiting trial, including on violent charges, has not shockingly, led to more violent crime, more people out awaiting trial committing crimes when they could have been in police custody awaiting trial. So how do you respond to how the city and Cook County State's Attorney and just the political power structure in Chicagoland has responded to the violence on the west and south sides, neighborhoods I know you care a lot about?
Yeah, well, first of all, let me just say this here is that the mayor and the governor and Dick Durbin doesn't have a clue for what to do, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And I admit, if I had to do it over again in terms of endorsing the mayor, I made a mistake. I just put it that way. We all entitled to that, of course. I just think I made a heck of a mistake, and I don't know if I had went the other way, would have been the same way or not.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I didn't have a clue. Now, no, I'm not for defunding the police department, and I think that the little money that they're trying to save out of there, you can balance your budget and find ways of putting money into the education system and neighborhood economic development, things of that nature, to bring them back. The hundreds of people get shot, all the people got killed out here. They don't care nothing about it. If they did care about them, using this for an example, they took in all of the marijuana thing. They gave them to exclusively all white, and that was that. Now I did put in for two of the marijuana licenses, but I haven't heard back from them because I want to take that money, if I get one, and give it to the community in terms of school, job training, and things like that.
They still haven't
but-
responded because I know they expanded the program and they did purposely to include women and minorities. And there's nothing. You haven't heard anything back yet?
We haven't heard nothing back as of yet. But I think you got to know how to talk to people. If you don't like somebody, you still got to sit and talk with them. You know, this is not in politics. It shouldn't be personal, but also it shouldn't be about gaining for self. For example, that, and then you got the Senator Durbin. Like, look, he done got $10 million in just people donating to him, like corporation lobbyists donating to the campaign. He's a lobbyist. How can you be a lobbyist and be a U.S. Senate? How can you go in the U.S. Senate, don't have any money, and end up being a millionaire?
Great question. But here's I want to go back to the public safety piece because this is so important. This is an international issue, and more importantly, it's an issue over which we should, I think, have much more of a sense of urgency than our political leadership seems to have about it. You know, we're working on it. We're making progress. No, we're not, but we're saying we're making progress. Mm-hmm. You said Lightfoot, Durbin, Pritzker. I'll throw in Kim Fox. You didn't, but I'll throw her in. You can take her out if you want. Don't have a clue about how to deal with policing and public safety in the city of Chicago. I want you to expound on that. And you know, as a United States Senator, what would you do to aid local officials if they're willing to accept aid in this fight against gang crime, basically?
Well, basically, what we would do, we got to put resources in those areas. The dollars, you got to put training, apprenticeship. If a person in the area is dealing and fighting over drugs and things of that nature, well, look, drugs doesn't pay a lot of money, you know, out there. But the same token is that those young men and young ladies who doing it create the job, apprenticeship, and things of that nature, and give them an income. level to come in that outweigh that. All right. Then even just being fair in terms of a tax dollar, I think a resource is like a resource into the community. Then you end up closing the school. You got to pay the police department, in my opinion, and you got to pay the school teaching and firemen. Look, I just think they underpaid. To be honest with you, you got to take the resource and put it in there. You got to create the federal dollar, like you got tip dollar, which got to go. That's local, but yet in all the federal dollars, you got to put those programs in places in those minority communities to create economic empowerment. You use the contracts and stuff that the federal government doing with major corporations. You put dollars and say, well, hey, you have to deal with those communities and build up infrastructure there too. And I think by putting those in there and creating jobs, putting up a apprenticeship program into schools, and even into prison, system. So when you get out, you got a job. And when you get out, you got a contract with the federal government. And then you have a place to have a contract to be an entrepreneur.
And where does reparations come in all this? Because I know you've been a big proponent.
Well, reparation comes in, and see, I don't believe that, and this is my opinion, reparation to me don't mean that every black person get $1 million a piece, right? My bill that I put in there, which is in there, it passed Chicago, City Hall, but I wanted a community task force commission be in there, but they took and gave it to the alderman and cut out the community, so I didn't like that. But my bill is basically saying that people who below poverty level income, making less than $15,000, $10,000 a year, need the opportunity to create jobs by apprenticeship, get to college and things of that nature, open back up some of those schools, 50 schools that are closed down, make sure that they can have the resources, housing and things of that nature, and training. Because see, if you don't put no dollars in no community, that creates crime.
Yeah, but also, Willie, you know this as a businessman. It's not just putting dollars into community. It's in whose hands those dollars go, and who has the spending power. So it's one, what we fund in Chicago. Let's just be honest about it. What we funded with since the Great Society programs, we funded a poverty bureaucracy. We haven't, funded people who were living in poverty. There's a big difference between those two statements.
Well, I think that it still boils down to though the programs. You take dollars for programming. If you get out of jail, for example, a person walking the street and goes to jail, once you get out, you only got $25 to get IDs. So when you get out of jail. But I'm thinking of, look, poverty create, in my opinion, crime. And I'm saying that to put, if I'm hearing you right, we got to put the resources and programs and things of that nature. Like, for example, the building next door to me where I live at, that building been going up 5 or 6 years. I've yet seen, except for one time I saw one minority working in there. For those taxpayer dollars, all right? But they need to have a training program in there to teach those young men and young ladies and give them the opportunity to be able to get some of those jobs and help build those buildings that is out there going up, all right? But you can see it on the expressways and things of that nature. Is that the minority not in there? So how can you survive if you don't have dollars and jobs and training? How can you get a job if you don't have the proper training? Then now you got to look at it this way too, with this COVID situation. People ain't working at hotels, they ain't parking cars, no parking lot, nothing.
Right.
So those people can't get food, nothing to eat. But where is the paycheck, the unemployment check, the stimulus check? You're creating something here that's not right. You have to make sure that those resources work. Now, that ain't giving nobody nothing. You're no more than the tax dollars that they already have paid themselves, getting back into those communities. I think the word reparation, a lot of people see that as a handout. They're giving people this, and that. Well, I'm a sharecropper. All right, I know what it's like. For 13 years, when I worked down in Louisiana, outside my 20 cents per hour that I made after I left off the farm. But before I worked 13 years, that pretty much 13 years, I didn't get paid a penny, and my mother, my father didn't get paid a penny. You know, so we didn't get paid nothing, but we picked the cotton and people bought them up north and down south, and they bought that and paid for it, and so they became wealthy and things of that nature. So now you get my age, senior citizen, you don't have no social security or nothing like that, but you help build things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying, look, create the opportunity now. It's not for people like myself that were fortunate enough, I won't say fortunate, I said blessed enough to be able to make it, But they don't have Social Security or nothing. They staying in houses. They can't even afford the face mask.
Yeah, I mean, look, I understand that what you're proposing is coming from a good place. We have some difference of opinion on exactly what the particulars are, but I know it's coming from a good place, and it's identifying obviously real failures of America over the course of our history, including within your lifetime. There's no question about that. Just getting back to the U.S. Senate race, though, there is a Republican candidate, Mark Curran, who's a county sheriff. He's held public office before in a substantially populated county in Chicago Metro. Why not just throw in with Mark Curran and the Republicans to challenge Dick Durbin? Why this independent candidacy?
Well, I created my own party, the Willie Wilson Party, because I branded myself. My name is already branded. But here's the problem that I see is this here, is that I use my own money. The Republican Party is not inclusion yet, not enough inclusion of minority community, all right? Mm-hmm. All right, and the Democratic Party is that they, and I say it relating, they point blank discriminate against black people. They only come in there and use them when they need them. Now, I'm thinking when I ran for president, they wouldn't even let me on the stage in South Carolina or let me on the ticket in Iowa. The Mississippi Supreme Court, which is all white Supreme Court, ruled and made them put me on the ballot in the state of Mississippi. Mm-hmm. All right? And so not enough inclusion there, and there's so much money in politics here, is that is who you have to answer to. All right? They're both Republican and Democrat. I don't want that in my party. I just want to let the people say what they want to do. Now, if somebody want to donate $5 or $10 to my party or something like that, that's fine. But the money in politics on both parties, Republican and Democrat, all right? If the corporation give you a large sum of money, you owe it to them. You owe your life to them, and the people's cut out, all right? I'm trying to say, look, it won't happen on my party. All right, because the fact of it is, let's do something different for the people. All right.
Well, look, I'm a man without a country in Illinois too, so just like you are. So I get the attitude of charting a new course there, the Willie Party. But before we let you go, I also wanted to get your opinion as we're on the cusp of this election, which you're participating in as a U.S. Senate candidate. But also for presidency, and your assessment of the job President Trump has done, and whether or not you think he's a racist, or is it just people who disagree with him and use racist as a way to attack him?
Well, you know what? I think this here is related to saying a person this or that, a racist or non-racist. I say give us a job and opportunity and don't be distracted. If somebody say that the president is racist and he out and said it's that you can say what he need to say, and everybody open and hears him, all right? Now, that's one thing. Secondly is that if you don't say it and you talk and stay silent about it, like the Democrats are saying, but the action proven otherwise, because if the Democratic Party was so good to black people and minorities, why is the black community in the situation it is today? Mm-hmm. So I say this here. Forget about all of that. Let's put things on the table that bridge the gap between white and black and talk together and do the right thing. And let's talk about things of that nature and forget about the rest of it, because it's just a distraction.
Willie Wilson, Chicago businessman, as you know, two-time candidate for mayor, now independent candidate for U.S. Senate. Willie, the website where people can get more information about your candidacy.
Willie Wilson for Senate. It's right. Willie Wilson for U.S. Senate.
Willie Wilson.
Okay.
Willie
All
Wilson
right.
for U.S. Senate.
Willie Wilson for U.S. I just want to make sure I got that right here.
Willie Wilson, Senate.
Willie Wilson for Willie Wilson for Senate.com. All right, we'll confirm that. We'll tweet that out as well. Willie Wilson, thanks so much for joining us. I'm sure we'll talk to you during the campaign, but best of luck on the trail.
All right. Thank you all.
Take care.
Thanks. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Recent events have reminded us how fragile the stock market and your life savings can be. What would happen to you if you lost 30, 40, 50% or more in the market? It could likely destroy your quality of life and impact your plans for the future. Let this be a wake-up call to sit down and review your financial situation. Take control of your future today and call Wealth Management Group 833-WMG-PLAN or visit investwithwmg.com. All investing involves risk, including loss of principal. Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA SIPC.
Presenting a good appearance is everything, a direct reflection of your business. But now you also need to ensure your employees and customers that you're providing a safe environment in which to work and do business. To keep and stay clean, team up with High PSI, Chicago's leading source on industrial cleaning equipment, accessories, and service. High PSI sells clean with the biggest selection and highest quality of industrial cleaning and pressure washing equipment in the Midwest. And now selling Vital Oxide, a hospital-grade, safe EPA-registered disinfectant cleaner. This product